All right, Derek, they're also looking at some big transfer guards slash wings. Let's break down some of those, but it's clear this is a need after what you just went through, right? Like you did not have the big guards to go rebound, to defend, to be versatile defensively. And then, as you said, to finish at the rim. Illinois just didn't really have an option to do that outside of their front court. So let's talk about these names. And the biggest one is a Chicago native. They recruited him really hard his first time around as he came out of IMG Academy, where he spent his last year. Terrence Shannon, Texas Tech transfer, enters his name basically as they're getting on the plane home from the Elite Eight. Just kind of an ideal fit, right? He's already played 3 years, has 2 years of eligibility, probably only one more that he would play, I would imagine, before going pro. But talk about Tim Anderson, right? He got a commitment out of him at DePaul at the time. Then he opened it up and decides to go to Texas Tech. Why is Terrence Shannon atop their transfer kind of target here?
It's just been something they're missing. And I know that you look at RJ Melendez as an athletic wing that brings some of the things athletically and lengthwise that you haven't had a whole lot of. But talk about a big guard, you talk about a two-way guy. That's been a lot. That's been a big narrative throughout the season of in the offseason, we really want a big veteran guard that can make a two-way impact. And Terrence Shannon's a high flyer. He's a guy that certainly can be versatile defensively. He's got a lot of ability there. You look at 6'6", 215. This past year, 10.5 points. He shot a career high 38% from three, so that's certainly encouraging. He's really trying to just take the next step, I think, in terms of his pro potential. And I think that Illinois is going to try to player development closer to home, certainly, as well as mom still lives in Chicago. And I know he was banged up a little bit this year. He missed a handful of games with back spasms early and had a knee thing. So he's trying to take in his final year, what he's probably looking at his final year in college is truly make that next ascension into a no doubt NBA draft prospect. But for Illinois, yeah, you know that you've had good guards, smaller guards, and you are bringing in some more size with this class. But he'd be a guy that you could slot in probably at that three spot, could play the two, and have RJ be a 3-4 guy as well. He could help you play fast. He could help you defend. He could help you shoot the three. He could go to the rim and finish. There's just a lot to like there, and to have kind of a hometown sell. And like you were talking about, and they recruited him hard out of high school when he was at Lincoln Park, and then ultimately reclassed and went for a post grad year at IMG. He'd be an ideal fit. Just kind of what they've been looking for to defend. I mean, how many times did we talk about big guards hurting them? This past year in terms of Illinois not having that guy defensively that could shut them down. I would have loved to see Shannon try to guard Malachi Branham or Jalen Pickett, those type of guys that hurt Illinois. He's got a lot of athleticism, length, and size, and that's certainly something they're going to covet and would love to have.
Yeah, Terrence Shannon was basically like a sixth man for that Texas Tech team, and he still averaged double-digit points. Defensively, I think we know what he brings. Not a strong rebounder, which is interesting given that he's 6'6", 215, really, really athletic, but a high flyer finisher. Derek shot 51% from two, 38.5% from three. So he's got a versatile offensive game. Is he a guy that's good enough to be like the go-to scorer on the wing for Illinois next year? Do you think he's got that in his game in his next season?
I think that's something that maybe they could try to get out of him. I don't know that he would be an Ayo Dosunmu. I don't think he'd be kind of that really go-to, everything runs through him type of player. I think that he could be a primary scorer for sure. I just think that he's probably more suited off the ball. You could run some stuff through him. You could put him in some ball screen. You'd love to just really get him going in transition. You'd like to be able to kick it out to him and have him get open 3-point looks and really, maybe it's an Epps drive to the lane. You kick it out, and then there's an opening down the lane for him to slash and drive. He's more of a slasher. He's not kind of that. He's not going to be the ball in his hands every possession type of guy, but he could be.
Can I give you a comp?
Yeah, go ahead.
How about not senior year, because it was one of the best years in Illinois history that kind of gets overlooked. Junior year, Luther Head.
Okay.
Does that make sense? 11 points per game. Like he was 11 points per game, shot 35% from three. But I'm just like Luther's smaller. Terrence is bigger. than him. But I'm just trying to make a comp for people that like this is what he could be, because Luther wasn't the guy with the ball in his hands that created everything. But if you have those other guys, he can be a really, really good piece.
Yeah, I certainly like that. A guy that's going to get going transition wise. Yeah, that 3 point mark is around that ballpark for sure. And then I think that you'd hope for another season that he can even improve on that, maybe get closer to that 40% range. I don't. He was a he was a prolific scorer back in high school, and I think that you're going to continue to try to get more out of him there. But you really just love his defense. You love just kind of the overall package that he brings. But he's definitely going to be a double digit scorer and one of your best players if he were to come in next year.